We have a big day, a lot of stuff to get to. We know you're probably waking up to a very wet start. We've had storms on and off throughout much of the morning, probably sometime after midnight here in Hampton Roads. And we do have team coverage for you this morning. We've been having our Jordie Clark. She is in the live this morning in the Weather Impact Interceptor. So you're seeing a live look from their feed right now. As you can see, they're in the Chesapeake area right now. As you can see, those roadways are still wet as the rain continues to come down here in Hampton Roads. But we want to get to our Craig Moeller, who is joining us here in studio this morning, really has been tracking this all morning long for us. Craig, when's this stuff going to let up?
So it is starting to let up across parts of the area. We do have some more rain, though, down to the south, and that's what we're going to be looking at. Let's jump into our weather headlines, and I'll talk to you about what we're seeing now. The heavier downpours settling to the south. We've got temperatures that are going to stay cooler now that a cold front is just settled down to the south as well, but the rain chances, at least across parts of the region, will continue Friday and Saturday. Now, today, upper 70s, you look at that forecast, and you see rain chances 6 and 8 and 10. By noon, cloudy, and then afternoon looks a little bit drier. That's for Norfolk, specifically at the airport. I will tell you, farther to the north, a little more sunshine. Down to the south, the rain will continue a bit longer. So as we zoom in and take a closer look, you can see some of the showers that are out there right now across the area. Rain has been very heavy this morning across parts of the area. We'll switch up and go to our live radar, and as we take a look, you'll notice just kind of spotty activity. Right now, Virginia Beach around the north end, light showers to moderate wet weather through the ocean front and the kind of hotel areas down there at the ocean front. Then as you go south towards Sandbridge, you still have some lingering showers down around Back Bay, southern parts of Virginia Beach. A little bit of a break. Looks like another little batch of showers kind of pushing through northwest in that section of Chesapeake down around Hickory. Some more showers approaching Suffolk, the north side of Suffolk, seeing still a few light sprinkles approaching from Isle of Wight, just kind of crossing over there, and then some showers approaching the Dismal Swamp down in the southern parts of Suffolk as well. Out around Franklin, light to moderate rain. The heavier activity is actually farther to the south. This is where we still have a lot. And look at all these lightning strikes.
Wow.
870 strikes from Newbern through Vandermeer up through Lake Landing and north of Rodanthe. That is some intense electrical activity showing up. Out to the west, Rocky Mount, these areas under flash flood advisory and flood advisory. There were warnings out there around Durham, back down towards Raleigh. You can see some of that more intense rainfall earlier this morning really adding up. So that's what's out there. Again, right now it doesn't look too bad for us, and that is certainly a huge blessing. Now you take a look at the rainfall so far today. This is since midnight. 2.4 inches at Norfolk International, 2.25 at Virginia Beach and Chesapeake, also around 2.5. Down around Currituck and Elizabeth City, it took them a while to get that really heavy stuff in, so their numbers still going up, but anywhere from about 1.2 to 1.5 inches there for those areas. And Manio, 1.72 inches. Some pretty impressive rainfalls across the region. We still have a flood watch for Southside Hampton Roads, Suffolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach, and then eastern North Carolina under the flood watch as well. Here's our future cast. As we take you forward, there's still going to be chances for rain down to the south. I think we could see a little something, Matthew, still across Hampton Roads, but the better chances down to the south, maybe a couple of stray showers forming late afternoon or evening, and then more rain down to the south overnight. As we go through the day tomorrow, a little bit of a break for Hampton Roads, but some more showers still possible down south. And then into Saturday, you can see this model tries to produce some more showers for our area. I do think we'll see a chance on Saturday, but mainly south and near the coast. All right, well, let's go back. I want to take one more look at this before we jump on to the beach forecast. Here's the futurecast rainfall over the next 24 hours. Still some significant rain south of the Albemarle Sound, but much lighter amounts for Hampton Roads. That is good news because we have had our share of rain, and it looks like the beaches might brighten up a bit later this afternoon as well. That would be awesome. We need folks to stay weather aware for this afternoon, especially down into North Carolina. A lot of rain out there, and you can see the conditions brightening as we go Sunday into Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, a few more isolated showers and storms, but that is what we are looking at. Now, you might be wondering, with all of this rain, before we jump off here or go to the tropics, I wanted to share with you the drought monitor. It came out this morning, and what we are seeing across Hampton Roads right now, some good news in that we are not looking at that drought situation for most of the south side and the immediate metro area. So as I try to pull up the drought monitor here, we will find it in just a moment. It's opening in another one of my files. It looks like for Hampton Roads and specifically the south side and into much of northeast North Carolina, right now it's still technically abnormal dry. But, man, after the rainfall we saw this morning and what's coming up in the forecast, I'd say we're going to be in great shape moving forward. Really excited about it. Here it is. It was hiding from me, but we did get it. So as it pops up, you're going to see again across the south side, we are looking really good. That area is shaded in yellow, just indicating dry conditions. But as far as drought goes, none of that for Hampton Roads south and into North Carolina. Eastern Shore, Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula, even parts of the peninsula still in moderate drought, but this is an improvement over where we were. So some good news there. And with all of this rain that just came, those areas out to the west around Rocky Mount and Raleigh, I think we'll see those areas getting way knocked back. It looks like we are coming out of this drought.
Which is good.
Great news. Great news there. I know you guys want to talk with Jordie, and we can get to her after the break. If you guys want, I can also update you on the tropics after the break as well. Does that work?
Yeah, we can do that. Yep. So we'll take a quick break here at 10:09. When we get back again, as Craig mentioned, he will go over the tropics, and then we'll hear from our Jordie Clark and where she's at and about in the Weather Impact Interceptor. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. We want to get back with Craig on the tropics. We know Tropical Storm Bertha kind of really hit landfall, and how's things out that way?
We'll take a look down along the Gulf Coast. That's where it's going. So as we start this tropical update, two name systems we are looking at. There is Bertha, and we're going to start with that. And then there's Fausto. You're going, Fausto, what's that? Well, if you haven't been paying attention, that's over in the Pacific. Folks in Hawaii are paying attention to Fausto. Right now, all that deep convection, that storminess is largely away from the center of Bertha. Bertha is actually straddling the coast here in Louisiana. And as we take a look, the center's actually shifted a little bit from where it was. Let's see if I can grab this thing here. Anyway, those little circles or the little arrows that are chasing around, we need to slide that just a little farther to the east. At any rate, it's out there and it is moving along, and it is a minimal tropical system. Now, as we take a look, I do want you to know, that heavier rain is still going to be potentially a problem for parts of South Texas. We could see some flooding rain that way. The actual position with Bertha, this was, at the 8 a.m. update right along the Gulf Coast here, straddling the central Louisiana Gulf Coast. Winds of 45 miles per hour, gusting to 60. It's going to move to the west. Right now, 13 mile per hour movement. So it's picked up forward speed, become a depression over land, then a remnant low as it eventually crosses over Texas and into Mexico. So the potential, though, is still there for some problems for hill country in Texas. That is a concern. Storm surge, this was never that big of a deal, but you could see up to 3 feet of storm surge along the Louisiana coast. And even over towards Galveston Bay and the Houston area, Galveston, Texas, we do have tropical storm warnings up. So this is going to move along. It hasn't been a tremendous rainmaker along the Gulf Coast, but there is still potential for more of that as it spreads into Texas, hill country. I think the heaviest rain will be across South Texas, but folks there will want to pay close attention as it moves along. Now, there's a look at Fausto over in the east central part of the Pacific, and we can zoom in. You'll notice there's that center of circulation or the eye with this hurricane. The latest on Fausto with the 5 a.m. advisory, it is a hurricane with 80 mile per hour winds gusting to 90. You see the big island there of Hawaii, and then you run up through the Hawaiian chain. Oahu, Maui, they're all going to be paying close attention. The forecast for this actually has it continuing to weaken as it gets closer to Hawaii into the middle of next week. And the center should be just to the north of Hawaii, keeping the dirty side of the system a little farther to the north. But I do expect it to kick up a lot of surf as it passes by to the north. So the north shore of Maui and Oahu likely to see some even larger waves and some larger action than what they're even typically historically known for. So the north side definitely going to be watching that with Fausto. So that's what's happening out there in the tropics. Again, that has been something that our weather team continues to monitor. And I'll mention, if you have interest in this, if you are, tied to Hawaii directly or you have travel plans, make sure to tune in to Hurricane Hub Live with Tim Pandages. Our chief meteorologist, Tim, does that live Hurricane Hub every weekday night at 8 o'clock. And he is phenomenal with his breakdown of the tropics and what's going on across the area. Highly recommend it. When Tim's away, Evan does a great job with it as well. All right, so our concerns here obviously have been the heavy rains that we've seen, and I know Jordie Clark's been out all morning in the Weather Impact Interceptor. Mm-hmm. She saw some sites earlier with some standing water.
Yeah, she certainly did. I think she was in Sandbridge earlier when we saw some of that standing water. We want to bring Jordie in now. Jordie, I know at last check you were in the Chesapeake area. Kind of tell us what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, good morning, guys. So we are currently in Chesapeake, kind of on the Chesapeake Portsmouth line this morning, and we're in the Crestwood, I believe, neighborhood right near Crestwood Park, and that's where we saw a lot of that standing water, especially kind of like what I mentioned earlier over in Sandbridge. If you were watching Daybreak this morning, taking a look at some of these neighborhoods, that's really where we are seeing much of that low-lying areas that have kind of been inundated with some of that water and that flooding. And again, with this morning rain that we just had, of course, that makes it a little harder for it to clear up. So it might take a little longer in those areas this morning. I mean, you can kind of get a look on both sides of the road. So again, any neighborhoods that are kind of prone to those flooding issues, I know we talk about it all the time, but just be mindful, be careful. I know the one we saw in Sandbridge, if you're not familiar with the area, I would not advise driving through it because, again, you just never know how deep it is. And so we've certainly seen that just a bit. But if anything, the rain has pretty much stopped as we moved back up north. We made our way down to North Carolina this morning to Moyock, and the rain significantly picked up over the past hour. But now that we're kind of headed back north here to Hampton Roads, now we're just trying to see what is left of pretty much just that aftermath of all that water, that puddling that we see it in the grass there on the side this morning, the slick roads, of course. So hopefully everyone has kind of made it to their destination for the most part to kind of get out of the thick of that rain. But, taking a look at even the tire tracks, I mean, it's wet conditions, slick roads, not very ideal for a morning commute. So hopefully everyone got to their destination safely. But again, just seeing those different areas, especially Sandbridge, being near the beach, you kind of always take that risk of those neighborhoods flooding like that. But again, it's just those pockets that you have to be careful of. And I think, Craig, I know you have been mentioning that throughout the morning, as well as Marta when she was helping people dealing with traffic this morning as well. So as much as you think you might be an expert at driving in rain, flooded areas, just don't take the chance, certainly be mindful, reroute yourself, take a few extra minutes, but that's, the majority of what we have seen. So now hopefully this rain dissipates, so some of those areas can start clearing out because, if you're not new to Hampton Roads, those areas can be very frustrating when they start to get that puddling and that flooding areas. But luckily for the most part, again, they've been very condensed in those certain areas that we've seen, especially those neighborhoods. So, we'll keep that in mind, especially as, crews might be out and about hoping to clear up any areas of significance. But, staying with us on 13 News now for any of those traffic closures, road closures, because again, just take a few extra minutes. And, that's why we have the alert system. That's why we give precaution. Just rather get to your destination safely than not at all. So,
Jordie,
we've been definitely taking it slow on the roads here this morning as well. But, yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to, not to interrupt you, but I was interested to know with the standing water, this is not wind-driven, this is not tidal, okay? It's strictly a situation where there's poor drainage area. Have you noticed anybody while you're out driving, like wading into the water or anything? Because it's very important people stay out of flood water. You know, you might think it's not a big deal, but that water can sometimes be a little contaminated.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, as much as I do stories with the different environmental groups around here that preference that as well, you don't know what's in that water. And I will say, throughout the neighborhoods, I've not seen too many people out and about outside of getting in their car and headed off to work or wherever their day is taking them. But I think honestly, it's been good news. Maybe people are actually listening to, just avoiding those areas. If you don't have to go in it, just don't. So definitely have not seen anyone out and about wading in the water. So I think that's definitely some good news, especially when we were in Sandbridge earlier. We did see some people on a golf cart, but I think if you live in those areas, it can be, easy to just kind of go with the flow, and they probably know the precautions to take.
Yeah, I think that's very well said, Jordie, for sure. So I'm assuming you guys are probably heading back this way towards Norfolk. You guys are going to be riding around for a little bit.
Yeah, most likely headed back here soon. I know that we'll also be live in the noon as well, but probably hearing just from officials as well, because again, we know that this water doesn't just disappear in a day. So, just keeping in mind, staying vigilant, especially if you're running into any of those areas, especially the poor drainage areas that take a little longer to dissipate. So, I already know just from talking to officials yesterday about, giving crews room to work as they are clearing up, of course, the aftermath of any of these kind of big rain events that we end up having. But, for the most part, I feel like people are heeding the precautions, taking extra time this morning. And honestly, if you don't have to go anywhere today, if you don't work today for some reason, stay inside for a little bit, let it dry up just a bit, because again, not just an icky day, honestly, is the best way to put it.
Oh, for sure. That's a good thing you guys are in the AC in the car as well. So, Jordie, we appreciate it so much. We will check back in with you soon. You guys stay safe out there as well. And then, Craig, I also know you said you had another update on the radar of what things are looking like.
I'd like to right now, and again, love having Jordie out there with the kind of firsthand accounts of what's going on. I wanted to update you. It looks like a new flood advisory is out for the Outer Banks. It's really interesting. When you get a flood advisory over the Outer Banks, that rain is really coming down, because what happens, think about this, when rain comes down and it's super heavy over the Outer Banks, guess what? It's got two ways it can go. It can run straight into the ocean, or it can run straight into the Sound. Either way, it's not a big deal. But for a flood advisory to actually be out there for Dare County along the Outer Banks, that's telling you there has been a tremendous amount of rain. And again, this is what we're looking at. Areas in this, minor flooding and is expected with ongoing heavy rain. Between 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain has fallen already by radar estimate down there, and additional heavy amounts of rain are going to be possible. So this is just a new thing. It was just issued literally. This just popped up a couple minutes ago, and I wanted to make sure everybody had that. So a flood advisory, and that's going to be until 1:15 this afternoon for the Outer Banks there. That's from Rodanthe, and I'm going to go ahead and see how far north that runs. You can see basically up just off to the south there of like the Nags Head area, up towards Oregon Inlet, those areas all under that flood advisory. So tremendous amount of rain. As I stop this here, I'll just give you a sense for what kind of rainfall rate we are looking at down there. So impressive, this heavy rain as it's been coming down. Again, we've been looking at this precip falling at a rate. In some places, it has been, very heavy, like more than 2 inches per hour in spots. As we take a look at the rainfall rates, there you go. That's the one just popping up there. Do you see it on the screen? It's just below Stumpy Point. Hang on a second. Trying to see if... There it is, 2.21 inches just showing up there on the feed. So you can see, again, this is tremendously heavy rain, and it's drifting along. So this is going to be the issue again. Very heavy rain still for the southern parts of the Outer Banks. The rain, fortunately, is much lighter for Hampton Roads and the most populated parts of our area. Not out of the woods just yet, but that heavier concentration down south.
All right. Yeah, we know a lot of people down there right now vacationing and whatnot. So, yeah, that's some great information right there, especially if you are in that area. Keep the rain gear handy because that rain is for several more hours.
And with hundreds of strikes of lightning down there on the southern Outer Banks, as a quick reminder, we don't have warnings issued, but we don't issue warnings on lightning, okay? It's winds, hail, and tornadoes that get the warnings, obviously, with severe weather. Lightning is deadly. So this is not a good time to be out walking around down there, southern Outer Banks. That lightning is very, very dangerous. Remember, you can catch the full forecast at noon with Hunter Forrest, and Evan and Tim will have you this afternoon.
All right. Sounds good, Craig. We appreciate it.